1. Russian Mil-V-12 helicopter. With helicopter-style rotor blades attached to the 219-foot wings, this Russian-built helicopter looks like a cross between a normal aircraft and a helicopter. However, due to design flaws with its lifting capabilities, only 2 were built. 2. American Nimitz-class aircraft carrier. These 10 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers were built over a period of 38 years, and the most recent and last was the US George H.W. Bush, commissioned in 2009. Each one is 332.8 meters long with a beam of around 80 meters, yet it can hit speeds of 30 knots or more, as it carries its crew of 3,200 ship's company and 2,480 air wing almost anywhere, as it never needs to refuel. 3. Ukrainian Antonov An-225 Mriya. Produced in 1988 to help transport the Soviet Union's space shuttle, it holds several world records for airlifted payload: 559,577 pounds, the biggest one. With its unique lifting abilities, the aircraft has been contracted by various militaries to help supply coalition forces in the Middle East. A second An-225 is currently in production, but will cost upwards of $300 million. 4. American Saturn V. The heaviest, tallest and most powerful rocket ever successfully launched into space, it carried men to the moon in 1969 as part of the Apollo space programs. While just 138 feet tall, it could generate 7,648,000 pounds of force at takeoff, and would travel at 2.58 kilometers per second for 263 seconds before dropping down speeds as it entered space. 5. France Char 2C tank. This French-built tank was 10 meters long and carried 12 crew members, making it the biggest tank to ever see service in any conflict. But it was largely a failure due to its slow speed, ultimately becoming nothing more than a propaganda tool for the French. 6. German Zeppelin airship. The Zeppelin Hindenburg was the largest airship ever built, and one of the most luxurious forms of transport in the early 1900s, but after the outbreak of World War I, the ship was primarily used for bombing raids. After the war, the Zeppelin experienced a golden age, exemplified by the Graf Zeppelin, a 235-meter-long giant. 7. Russian's upper-class hovercraft. This Soviet creation still serves today in the Russian, Greek, and Ukrainian navies, and is capable of carrying 500 troops, or 3 tanks. With numbers in service decreasing, the Chinese ordered 4 at a cost of $315 million. The 57-meter-long hovercraft can travel at speeds of 55 knots for over 300 miles, making it a good landing craft for military operations on islands. 8. Belarusian Belaz 75,710 dump truck. It weighs 360 tons and can carry 450 tons. It's 20 meters long, 8 meters high, and nearly 10 meters wide. It's basically a huge truck. 9. Russian Typhoon-class submarine. At 570 feet long, this submarine is the biggest ever built, and can dive to 1,300 feet for up to 120 days. Despite being designed in the 1960s and built in the 1980s, this nuclear-powered monster of the deep is still quieter and more maneuverable than its predecessors. 10. Prelude vessel. It's more than 100 meters longer than the Empire State Building, and when fully loaded will weigh around 600,000 tons. Shell's 1,453-foot-long Prelude is the biggest vessel to have ever gone to sea, and it has taken the evolution of transport to a whole new level. 11. Bagger 293. The Bagger 293 is a terrifying mining excavator that can carve out a hole the size of a football field measuring about 270 feet deep, all in one day. It requires over 16.5 megawatts of power just to operate at roughly the same amount of power 2,500 houses consume per day. 12. Loturno TC497 Overland Train. The Loturno TC497 overland train reached 600 feet, and it was designed to reduce our country's dependency on railroads for shipping, especially to more backcountry places where building rail might be a real disaster. 13. Caterpillar 797. It's basically your average dump truck, just supersized. The mining industry uses these 50 feet long behemoths to transport as much as 400 tons of ore, and the 797 has a 4,000 HP engine to accomplish that, all yours for a cool $5 million. 14. NASA Crawler Transporter. It moves spaceships. To do this, it has two 2,750 horsepower V16 diesel engines, and yet they have a top speed of 2 mph. That epic top speed falls to 1 mph when loaded with a space shuttle. But there is good reason for that. The space shuttle weighs 165,000 pounds empty. Its external tank weighs 78,100 pounds empty, and its two solid rocket boosters weigh 185,000 pounds empty each. Each solid rocket booster holds 1.1 million pounds of fuel. 15. Big Muskie. It eats mountains. Built for the Central Ohio Coal Company in 1969. It was the largest single bucket digging machine ever made at the time. At 151 feet wide, 222 feet tall, and 487 feet long, Big Muskie could swallow 295 tons in one bite out of the ground. 16. Australian BHP iron ore train. The record for the longest train ever was set on June 21, 2001. in Western Australia between Newman and Port Hedland. The train consisted of 682 loaded iron ore wagons and 8 GEX 6000 locomotives, giving a gross weight of almost 100,000 tons, and moved 82,262 tons of ore. The train was 7.353 kilometers, 4.568 miles long. 17. Schwerer Gustav. The Nazis built two 80 cm railway siege guns in 1939-1941, and they were then deployed in late 1942. They were designed to break through extremely strong fortifications, specifically the forts along the Maginot Line. It was 7,100 kilogram projectiles fired out of a 30-meter long barrel. 18. Surely SPMT. One self-propelled modular transporter SPMT is nowhere near the largest vehicle in the world. It is a low, flat platform with dozens of computer-controlled wheels that can move independently from each other. It can carry the most weight and is the largest of any land vehicle. Weight such as 15,000-ton offshore oil platforms. 19. Hernect EPB Shield S300. This is the largest tunnel boring machine ever built. Just qualifies as a vehicle, as it drives itself. Point it at something and turn it on, job then. It is 374 feet long with a shield diameter of 50 feet. 20. F-60 Overburden Conveyor Bridge. They are moving bridges that carry all the crap that they dig off the top of mines overburden. They are 262 feet tall, 787 feet wide, and 1,647 feet long. Each one weighs 13,600 metric tons. The largest land vehicles are primarily used to move land. 21. Dodge Power Wagon. Commissioned by billionaire Sheikh Hamad in the UAE, this pickup holds 4 air-conditioned bedrooms, a living room, and a bathroom, with a motorized tailgate that drops down to become a terrace. It set records as the largest pickup truck ever made. 22. World's longest limo. This world record long 100 FT limousine created by J. Arberg in Burbank, California, has 26 wheels and requires 2 trained drivers to actually maneuver it around. Inside it has a heated jacuzzi, a swimming pool, a king-sized bed, and a sun deck. It's even got a helipad on the back, as you can see the helicopter landing. Why you would need to land a helicopter on a limo though, nobody knows.
Thanks for watching. Leave your comments, share, and subscribe.